There's a lot of panic in the air, so in this video I'll be discussing Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. I'll be going through different scenarios, different arguments that I may be using, and really any other important information that has to do with the price action of all three. Just a quick TLDR on the recent Bitcoin price action. We set a new Bitcoin all-time high, so typically in that situation I will always highlight the previous all-time high that price has recently broken through. So for this exchange, which is Coinbase, the previous all-time high is going to be 124.5k. So that level is just going to be one that I'll use for arguments. I want to be aware of where it is, and it's something that can be used as a key support and resistance level, but really for now it's just a level that I just want to know where it is. So I have that level highlighted, as you can see, and then I have the H1 breakdown point highlighted as well at just 125k. So that's really the two levels to the upside I have. 125k has not been retested, nor has the previous all-time high after the initial sell-off. Okay, so those are both levels where I wouldn't necessarily look to take trades from in terms of, let's say, price bounce from here. I wouldn't really necessarily look to short from here yet, unless we get some more price action developing in this area, and it really confirms the argument that these two levels are going to be important. But again, I just want to have them highlighted so I'm aware of them and I can watch the reaction to the levels. Next, I have highlighted the H1 breakout point at 120.9k. Okay, and that's just a classic H1 breakdown point with a consolidation period just below it. What's interesting though about this level and this consolidation period is price wicks into the previous range high before breaking out of the consolidation period. So with my range trading, it's pretty simple, where if I have just a normal range here, if and when price breaks out or down from the range, so let's say price is breaking out from the range high, the previous range high is now going to be my new range low. Okay, so it's very straightforward, very simple. So with that being said, this 119.5k level, it was my previous range high, so now it's going to be my new range low. So with all that being said, I have a lot of confluence for this area right here, which is the green box. So that's going to be 121 or 120.9k to 119.5k. And overall, just my thoughts on the price action is we haven't really seen any kind of pullback since we set our local low. So for me to see price chopping and stalling a bit up here is really not that concerning whatsoever, just because, you know, we had a major move from the lows. Price is going to take some more time to now accumulate or reaccumulate for a move higher. There's nothing at all too concerning about this price action, despite what social media may be saying. So if price were to fall back within my previous range, so back below the 119.5k level, then sure, I could say, you know, this isn't looking ideal. Maybe we'll go for price a little bit lower. But if and when that 119.5k break happens, it's definitely worth being aware of a potential setup where price could sweep the low before the move up. Price could consolidate below the level before a reclaim. So those are two scenarios to be on the lookout for. Now you may be asking yourself, well, how do I know if this is going to be a confirmed move down? So really my way of telling is if the consolidation period happens below whatever level I'm waiting to see price reclaim, maybe. If the consolidation breaks down, I just use this as an H1 consolidation period, enter into a short position. The invalidation is going to be the high of the consolidation period, or if I have confluence, I can even set it above here, and then take profit one will be my range low. So it's really just a waiting game and seeing which way price breaks from the consolidation period. So you need to have patience. So here's everything from the H4 point of view. As you can see, there's nothing really too concerning. We're still holding this H4 consolidation period, H4 breakout point. We are still holding the previous range high. Actually, we haven't even retested the previous range high. And then from the daily point of view, we could see that daily consolidation period at 119.5k and really how many interactions price had with the level before eventually making the move. So you can assume that the level will be equally as important if and when it is retested. Now this just blasted through the level, so we didn't get much information there, but if and when price retests that level, we can get a lot of information based on that retest. Moving on to Ethereum, I've had this 4620 level highlighted for a long time now. It's just a higher time frame level. I believe it's from the daily or weekly, I kind of forget, to be honest, but overall price really does not like being above this 4600 level. So we could see from the recent move up. Price spent a few hours consolidating above before eventually breaking below the level and really didn't offer a retest for a short trigger, unfortunately. So 4620 is still going to be the level to really break with confidence to get a move higher to the 5K region. And I discussed Ethereum in a bit more detail for a private video in the Haven, but essentially what I said was this red box is one that was very important. It was an H4 consolidation period. You could see all of the consolidation that happened at different points within this red box. So when price was still holding this, typically I do not assume price is going to break a level. Okay, that's a classic range trader's mentality. I'm not going to enter into a position and assume some key level is going to break. But now that price has broken down, obviously now I can use that level for a bearish argument. So the first level to reclaim is going to be the 4440s level. The main issue with Ethereum, and this is what I discussed heavily for the private Haven video, is this price action here. This price action in the moment is amazing, right? Just up only, vertical accumulation, if you will, whatever, tag you want to put on it. There's really no pullbacks before moving up, which is amazing in the moment. Though the issue is when price eventually comes down a bit and it's time to retest this entire region. Now, unfortunately, because this happened, there was no areas of support established on the way up. So there's no key levels. There is no just even brief consolidation period. Nothing for price to really use as support or a foundation on the way down. Now, yes, of course, we have some H1 levels here as well, where price does go for 2 periods of H1 consolidation, which is always great, but it's always even better to have that confluence on higher time frame. Now, because we don't have that on higher time frame, it's going to be very easy for price to break down and really slice through the level and retest that 4220 level, which is what we're seeing here. It's been very easy for price to sell off, right? Because you really have to picture that. If there's going to be no resistance built up on the way up, what's going to happen? There's no base forming here. So unfortunately, what happens is price just cuts through the level. So with that being said, the level that I'd really like to see Ethereum hold is 4220. That's the H4 breakout point. We had a really strong reaction from that level. If we extend that to the left, it's a very key level historically as well. And also because price did not retest before the initial move up, just very standard price action procedure is to wait or look for that retest if and when price retest that area. So I am looking to build an Ethereum long somewhere within this region. So unfortunately, that's not a very helpful statement because it's a 5% range and there's no way for me to tell you exactly at what price. If there's some consolidation at the 4220 area, that would be great. So some kind of chop or consolidation at the level. If there's consolidation above the level, of course, I'll be looking to buy the consolidation breakout from the consolidation period. And similarly, if there is consolidation below, that would really be the most ideal and like the S tier setup, because let's say price consolidates below here, reclaims a higher time frame key, a way more important level at 4220, then I could kind of bid more confidently and maybe increase the position size slightly because I have that higher time frame confluence. I can have my invalidation below the high time frame level as well as the consolidation below the high time frame level. So that would be really the S tier setup. I wouldn't necessarily wait for that if it doesn't happen. So if there's consolidation above, like I mentioned, I'll happily buy the break of that consolidation as well. Also though, if there's any kind of consolidation period within this entire region, I will be looking to buy the H1 consolidation period, but it would be a lot better for the entire trade argument if it happens around here. Also, if that doesn't happen, I always have the long setup if and when the bottom of the red box is reclaimed. So whatever happens below here, if nothing interesting happens, nothing catches my eye, I could always take a long on a reclaim of this red box and target the 4600 level or the consolidation before the sell-off or the H1 breakdown point. Okay, so a lot of opportunities. The goal of this video is just to discuss potential setups. So if price hits those levels, we know what's going on and there's not really any more panic and we could just execute calmly. And now finally Solana, we are retesting this all-important 223 to 218 level. Again, this is not some new level. I've been discussing this level quite a bit. It's a historically significant level. So there's one main cause for concern on this chart, and that's the daily lower high. Okay, so even though the support level is holding, that's going to be a major concern. Now, really what has to happen is price needs to hold this green box. So if price does not hold this green box, then I would say that this lower high on the daily is more confirmed, and that can be used as an argument going forward about Solana's weakness. With that being said, price action does look pretty ugly. We did attempt to bounce from the level on the H4, and we have fully retraced that entire bounce. So the positive takeaway of Solana is going to be the consolidation periods between 205, which is the next higher time frame level, and 218, which is the bottom of green. So we have a consolidation period between 210 and 205. We have a consolidation period here just below the green box. So we have a lot of consolidation periods to work with for potential trade arguments. We also have a key H4 level here. So we have a lot to work with. Now, it's not going to be thought of like Ethereum, where we had a vertical accumulation period and price is going to be easy to fall through this level. Because we don't have that, we need to think that it'll be a lot more difficult for price to sell off within this region. Now, is it actually going to happen? Will price easily sell off through the region? We don't know. Unfortunately, we can't tell the future, but that's just the thought process that I use when looking at a chart like this. So potential trade setups for Solana is going to be the classic deviation setup. So some consolidation below here, price breaks from the consolidation period, reclaims the bottom of green. The long trigger will be on the reclaim of the bottom of green and the breakout from the H4 or H1 consolidation period, and the target will be somewhere within this H4 consolidation before the move down. Solana is also really interesting because we are between two higher time frame levels right now. If price sells off here, we have 205.7 and 218 in this green box, as I discussed, right? So you have to think that any long position that you kind of take within this region, wherever the invalidation may be, the first take profit kind of has to be within green somewhere, because it's a higher time frame level and that cannot be ignored, and I cannot assume that price is going to break through that level. So it's also worth noting that even if there's like some consolidation period between the two levels conveniently, it would be very difficult for me to actually enter into a position on either side, because we don't really have much room to either of the higher time frame levels. So in that situation, I really just wait for something to develop either on the higher time frame level, below it, above it, somewhere around the higher time frame level, and I definitely try my best to not diddle in the middle here. So it would be really nice to see the levels I just discussed hold to the end of the week and into the weekend. That would be ideal, despite the lower time frame ugly price action. Like I said, this is really the first pullback we've seen throughout the entire move up. So unfortunately, it's pretty safe to assume there's going to be a bit more chop and awful price action before we get the next leg of the move. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any other further questions, comments, anything like that, please feel free to ask. Thank you.